As we enter the third week of the Dubai Expo, here we will be more or less focusing on a number of things proudly South African. But one major part of the proudly South African products which have come out through towards the Dubai Expo 2020 is the Feldspan shoe range. We do know that Nick Dreyer is the CEO and designer of these shoes, and we do know these are really famous for their presence not just with international celebrities and sports stars, but also during the Olympics which took place earlier this year. And I think there's no better time to actually bring into the conversation Nick Dreyer, the CEO of Feldspan. I think firstly, Nick, thank you very much for your time here on Newsroom Africa. Nick, I think speaking towards your shoes, they've hit the market by storm both internationally and on South African shores as well. What is your reflections on perhaps them being present here? But I think let's just take it back to when you initially had started out.
Yeah, we started out in a conversation between myself and my business partner Roz Zondag about 4.5 years ago when the South African team came out at the Olympics, and they didn't wear anything that was easily to recognize as a South African garment, and we decided that maybe they should have been wearing Feldspan, but Feldspan needed some color and a little bit of that Mzansi magic in it, so we made all the range in colors of the South African flag, so matching laces and matching soles. And it's been a 4.5-year journey which has been so remarkable. The country has adopted the shoe as its own, which is exactly what we set out to do. We're going to jump at the chance.
I know we mentioned we would touch on celebrities, but I'm glad that you mentioned manufacturing and the rise of opportunities. I mean, this must have been a great position for you to place yourself in creating jobs in South Africa, given the fact that obviously there is a slight employment challenge which is facing the South African economy.
You could not have said it better in terms of articulating that there's a current problem. Employment is an issue in South Africa. One of the ways to solve that is to create businesses, to make businesses and to create products which are not just for sale in South Africa but exportable. And we work with Hopewell Footwear in South Africa, in Durban, and they're a second or third generation footwear manufacturer, and they're big. But since we've gotten big, they've gotten bigger. So they've been able to employ more people. And we've now started making flip-flops, pluckies, in Durban as well. The easy way to do it is to just import them from somewhere else, right? It's hard. You've got to get through it. But once you get through it and you start reaching scale, you make more stuff, and that means more people are employed. So indirectly, I think we went from 3 of us as the founders. I think in our office we're 20 now, and I think indirectly it's over 200 people that are involved in making our shoes.
So that's fantastic and really great to know that, from where it started off, who would have thought that a good 4 years down the line you would be providing school shoes, both to service people within the education sector and to those who don't necessarily have the access to it on that front. I think let's just bringing it back to the Dubai Expo. Where do you think this Expo is going to take Feldspan and perhaps even the economy and perhaps the various sectors of South Africa going forward?
I was here a couple of days ago, and I think 2,500 people walked through what is effectively South Africa. The world has come through this incredible environment where we were just not exposed to the rest of the world. South Africa, like everybody else, was in a lockdown. There's a rebirth in the world, and I think Expo 2020 could not have come at a better time. You can visit Expo 2020 and you can effectively visit the globe.
Many people would be looking to get inspired by your 4-year journey and obviously everything else that comes beyond this going forward. What would your message of encouragement be to any young entrepreneur, any university student, any high school student who thinks this is the route I want to go to, perhaps not just bring into South Africa's economy and build their own businesses, but to ensure that there is economic growth and sustainability within the South African context?
The opportunity to speak to young entrepreneurs in South Africa is one that I relish because it's needed. We need new businesses. Our youngsters are creative. And I say youngsters, but I mean, I'm in my 40s, so the guys out there, 40s and 50s, also please think about starting businesses. What is the requirement for starting a business or starting an entrepreneurial journey in South Africa? You have to be enthusiastic and you have to be able to work hard.
Nick, thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure you'll be massive success going into the many years going forward. Best of luck for Feldspan and for every other project going forward, and I'm sure the Department of Education will be exceptionally excited at the new range going from there.
It's a great pleasure being here. Thank you for taking the time to chat to us, and I wish you all the best of luck while you're here. And to all our viewers back home and to everybody around the world, come visit Expo 2020. It's a remarkable place. And then, of course, come and have a look at the South African Pavilion. It's a beautiful place to be. It feels like I'm at home.
Fantastic. That's Nick Dreyer, CEO of Feldspan shoe range. I'm sure you heard that must have been a very exciting journey from 4 years ago, right, heading right through to right now. And to think that the Ford Motor Company has actually come through and actually helped develop a school shoe which may not just be used for one child but two and perhaps three. And as you heard from Nick himself, if you are a young entrepreneur who would like to get started, the first thing to do is just to get started. And like you say, you can actually move from an artist perhaps and then making it through into the shoe industry without really having the know-how. For Newsroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Ahmed Kaji at the Dubai Expo.